guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're doing a little different video, and I want to give some context to the video before we start. But if this is the first time seeing my face, my name is Helena, and if you already know who it is, you know what's up. So today we're doing like it's kind of like scary, nervous, excited video. So my sister went ahead and sent me a TikTok last night. If you don't know, my sister is booming on TikTok. Her name is Mariah Teresa. And so she sent me her TikTok, which she sends me her TikTok every day, every time she posts it. So it was around 9 o'clock and I was about to put my phone down and she sent me a TikTok and I was like, let me watch it real quick. But it didn't have her face on it. So I'm like, okay. So I opened the TikTok and I read the little like bio and I was like, okay. And the girl, she's a black girl and she's just crying. And I was like, okay. But when I read the title, it didn't make sense. But then when I watched the video, when I tell you I started crying, and I'm a crybaby, but I'm not at the same time. If you know me, you really gotta know me to cry, okay? So I'll ask my sister if I'm able to insert the video, because I want to give context to why I'm making this video. So I've been on the fence of trying to make this video and how I would want to make this video since I started my YouTube channel, since I started my journey. And I wanted to make this, even before I started YouTube, I've always searched this topic up and there was nothing ever out there. So if you don't know, my name is Helena and I have fibromyalgia. If you don't know what that is, I'm going to read you a definition off of Google, what it is, and then we're gonna go ahead and start explaining it, and then I'll tell you how I was diagnosed, and then if you guys want more information, I'll definitely give more. So I went ahead and went on Google, and I just said define fibromyalgia. And it says a chronic disorder characterized by widespread muscular skeletal pain, fatigue, tenderness in localized areas. So fibromyalgia is often accompanied by fatigue, altered sleep, memory, and mood. Widespread muscle pain and tenderness are the most common symptoms. Medicine, talk therapy, and stress reduction may help control symptoms. And fibromyalgia, there is no cure for fibromyalgia. It is a lifelong illness that you have to live with for the rest of your life. So we listened and we read the definition. And if you guys can tell, I'm very nervous. This is a very touchy subject for me. It's because some of it is because I'm embarrassed. And also some of it is because I'm so young. So I'm only 26 years old. So when I was diagnosed, okay, let's go ahead and start. So when I was around 10 years old, okay, so 10 years old, I started getting leg pain. And it wasn't as harsh, but it was like, you know, like it hurt. Like it was definitely noticeable. I have a very high tolerance of pain, which I didn't know until later in life. But I would always complain to my mom, like, Mom, my legs are hurting. I would stay home from school. My legs were hurting, and I was definitely a tomboy. So I was always, me and my little brother always playing. I'm going 4-wheeling fishing. So I wasn't no dainty little girl either. So I was always in pain since 10. That's when I really remember it. And I remember doing the dishes, and I was doing the dishes and I just fell to the floor and I just started screaming. And I was like, Mom, it just hurts. It just hurts. And looking back, a lot of people, I'm just skipping around. Okay, so let's start with this. So 10. And my parents would always say, oh, it's just leg pain. Oh, you're growing. Oh, you're growing. So that was for about, I want to say 3 years. They were just like, it's growing pains, it'll go away. And it just got worse. And it was like, I don't even know how to describe it because there's no explanation. Labor has nothing on FM. And I know when people are like, what? Labor has nothing on fibromyalgia flare-ups. period. I think that's why my labor was so smooth, because I'm like, oh, this it? The fuck? Like, hold on, y'all. So it just, fibromyalgia, to, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a clawing sensation. It's like a burning sensation. It's like an agonizing sensation. Imagine I can't even explain it. It's excruciating. So it used to just be in my legs. So I want to say once I got to 8th grade, Clark Middle School, I remember this. We moved to Clark Middle School because my auntie was the counselor there. So I was in 8th grade, so my auntie was my counselor. And I'm not a bad kid, but it's just my attendance was down. So I remember my auntie always coming to me and be like, hey, like, why aren't you in school? Like, I know kids don't like school, but this is crazy. This is ridiculous. So it got to the point where the school would call my auntie instead of calling my mom, telling her that I was not in school, because people knew that she was my auntie. So, and this is my mom's older sister. So she was just like, no, Helena, you need to do better. You need to do better. She didn't know what was going on, because I didn't even know what was going on. And so she was just like, no, we need to take you to the doctor. Like, something's not right. Like, I understand kids don't like school, but this is ridiculous. And I was doing good in school. I wasn't failing in my classes. I was doing I was doing my homework. I just wasn't in school. So that was when I was in 8th grade. So in 8th grade, I think I was 12, because I was always a year younger than everybody. So go to the doctors, and this is where, oh my gosh. So I just felt like a guinea pig. I felt like they were doing so many tests on me, because they ran my blood. They could see I was in pain. They could see that my levels were stressed. I was going to the hospital all the time. They could see like I was in pain. I physically was in pain, but they couldn't figure out why. So they thought I had lupus. They thought I had, they thought I had a lot of different disabilities. They thought I had a lot. And every single time I would be like, okay, I got my answer. And then they're like, when I present them with the new problem that I'm getting, like, okay, well, that can't be that, because it doesn't align with this. So we would be back at the drawing board. I've been to specialists. I remember one pain test. I did MRIs, CT scans, x-rays, you name it, I did it. It was to the point where I was not claustrophobic at all. By the time I probably did my 8th MRI, I was claustrophobic. And I remember the CT scan or MRI at Alaska Regional has like lavender, and they would put hang the lavender doTERRA up. I don't know if it was doTERRA, but essential oils. And then they would give me a Xanax 30 minutes before. I would take it like an hour and then 30 minutes before. So I remember this one test, and my oldest sister, Taisha, she actually came with me because my mom, she couldn't handle seeing her daughter in pain, which is understandable. She was still there, but I just remember one test. Oh my gosh. So they had to test to see if my muscles were deteriorating. I can feel the pain just thinking about, just talking, I can feel it. And so I went to the doctor's office, and I had to take my clothes off, and they didn't really tell me what this test was going to be about. They just said that they were going to test to see if my muscles were deteriorating. And I'm like, okay, another test, add it to the list. So my mom, I'm laying on the table, my mom's sitting right there, my sister's sitting right there, and they're like, okay, we're gonna start. And I was like, okay. When I tell you, they stuck me with over 200 needles, not acupuncture needles that you draw blood with, all over my body. And I remember the one in my, the front of your leg, where your knee to your ankle. I don't know where position it was, but I just remember they put it in there and they told me to flex my muscles. And I just started crying because you have to like flex, you know, move. You have to move it to see if there was any muscle deterioration. So I remember my whole hand was covered in needles, and I had to move it. It's different just poking you with the needle, but flexing. Oh, I'm getting sick to my stomach, and I don't think I am not a dramatic person, but it was so painful. So it was hard for me because I was surrounded by a whole bunch of people in my life, but nobody could understand. One, my mom has FM, but my mom wasn't a young child. Like, she wasn't my age. So to talk to somebody about how I'm feeling, about chronic pain, about what I'm experiencing, there was nobody. I didn't have social media, so there was nobody to reach out to. And I was raised with just our church, and I would go to school, go to church, go to school, go to church. There was no in between. There was family barbecues, but nobody wants to just sit and dwell on a family barbecue. Okay, y'all. So let me just take a little break and get myself together because tears are coming and it's not gonna happen. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I got myself together. And so where did we leave off? So it was very much isolating. I was very depressed as a child. Because it just gets thrown at you. You don't, 1 minute, and this is just so sad to say, I don't remember a time that I was not in pain ever. Like, I have memories as a child, but like thinking like, oh, I remember how it feels to not be in pain. Never. I do not have that memory. So fast forward, I start going to the doctors regularly. They get me on medication. Medication's going good. Medication, I'm starting to be relieved. And then kidneys start acting up because of all the medication I'm taking. So the doctor was like, in order to save your kidney, no medication. And when I tell you, this is so honest, y'all. I wanted to jump off a building, the highest building, no survivor rate. Like, I was done. I was like, 6 months, no medicine. Like, how do you think I'm supposed to live? Like, so then I had to stop taking all medication, and there was no narcotics at this time. It was just Tylenol, ibuprofen, Advil, all of that type of medication. It was on a consistent basis. So kidneys messed up, and I'll never forget when I got that news. I remember just crying, and I don't know how my brother-in-law got on the phone, but somehow he found out that I don't know if my mom told him that I did not have a good day, and he surprised me with some shoes. And that's not uncommon for my brother-in-law. Like, he's super generous. So he bought me some LeBrons, and if I have a picture, I'm gonna insert them because, baby, I was a fly girl. So I remember that, and I was just like, God, are you even real? Like, you really trying to take me out, like, for real? So by this time, I couldn't really move. So I was gaining weight. I had my depot shot at 16. So I couldn't get my period because it was so painful. The periods were painful, which would ignite my FM even more. So I had to get on birth control, which was a depot shot. I think I gained 50 pounds in the course of like 3 months on that depot shot. I was always a big gal, but baby, it was fast. So then by 16, I gained weight. I couldn't work out. I was in constant pain. I felt alone. I always had people telling me I was lying. That was something that I still feel has scarred me to this day, because when you're telling the truth and somebody's coming and telling that you're lying, that you're not doing enough, that you are not putting forth effort, oh my gosh, it's the worst. So, and that's why I don't tell people to this day, because it's a trigger. So I had Everybody thinking I was lying. I was trying to get out of school. I was getting out of chores. I didn't want to go do this. I didn't, and physically I couldn't. Like, so just imagine all that crammed on a little kid. You got to go through puberty. You got to go through this and have no friends. I had girls at church that I was cool with, but they couldn't relate to me. They couldn't. It didn't matter about skin color. It doesn't matter about nothing. They could not relate to me. So I had to figure it out. So I found my primary care physician, which she's still my primary care physician to this day. She just understands me and she gets what I ask and what I need from her. So it was just a lot. When I tell you, I'll pray to God and be like, why me? Why did you do this to Helena? I didn't do nothing to nobody. Like, why would you put this on me? Like, I already have so much going against me as just being a black girl in America, living life. Just that. You're gonna add this on top of me? Like, what the actual fuck? And definitely didn't want to be here on earth. I would tell my mom that all the time. I would cry all the time. I remember writing in my journal, because when it got really dark, I would write it out. And I still do that to this day. Like, when I'm stressed, I just write it out. And I would just be like, I hate God. Like, he doesn't care about me. Why would he do this to me? And I didn't do nothing to nobody. I understand I understand. But it was just, So I missed a lot of school. I just kind of gave up on life because it was no point of living. When you're always in pain, you don't have nothing to look forward because it's just in pain, you know? So then I got diagnosed with FM around 16, 17. And it was one of the most happiest, sad days of my life because it was just like, finally, we're at a cross. Like, we're done. We figured it out. We're good. And it was sad that I would have a disability for the rest of my life, but it was like, okay, you're not crazy, you know? So my diagnosis is I have fibromyalgia, which is called FM. So a lot of the videos, if you hear me say I'm sick, unless I'm telling you I have a cold, it means I have a flare-up. So I have fibromyalgia. I have intense pain syndrome, which sometimes even the touch hurts. I have costochondritis, and I have asthma. And there's a little few other things that I have that they're not really significant for me to even mention, but those are just the top things that I have. And so I was so embarrassed. And then it's just because nobody, like, you don't have nobody to talk to. Even to this day, I feel alone because there's nobody to talk to about it. You can't even, like, my mom, she has it, but we're not the same age, so it doesn't affect her as it affects me, you know? So got diagnosed, and then we got onto a medication regimen, which, if you guys want me to go in detail of the medications, everything that I've tried Lyrica, and that was the hardest thing I had to go through. Lyrica is what they put, it's an antidepressant, but it also can help with pain. Oh my gosh, when I tell you, I hope my mom has forgiven me for the things I've said to her. You are literally going crazy for the first 3 months. When I tell you, I would want to kill somebody and hug them at the same time. Like, it was so many emotions going through my head. So then after that, it worked for about 6 months afterwards. It definitely helped. It wasn't that burning, since that the intensity went from, I was in pain from a 10. It probably brought it down to a 7. And when I tell you, I praise God for that. So it would be to the point where I would claw. I even looked into amputation, my legs. I wanted to cut them off. I begged my mom for it, and she was like, you're not gonna be happy. I talked to my primary care physician. She was like, no, Helena. I wanted to amputate my legs. And then, so then around 18, it started spreading I started getting tingles in my baby toe. So I went to the doctor and she was like, it's just moving. It used to be your legs. It used to be my right leg used to be really bad. And now my whole left side is bad. So it started with my baby toe. And when she heard that, she was just like, yeah, it's gonna go through your whole body. So when I feel when I know my baby toe is tingling, I know I'm about to lay out. I'm going to have the worst flare up. So that was when I was about 18. Graduated high school. I worked for the Anchorage School District. So I was kind of scared to get a job. Like I worked at Dairy Queen. I worked at Nordstrom's. I worked at Natural Pantry all in high school. But I had to call Nordstrom's. I didn't remember really calling out that much. But like Natural Pantry was a yes. I definitely called out. So they were very understanding with my FM. There was like a little family that owned they were a huge family, but they owned Natural Pantry, so it was more easier for me. So then the reason I left there is because I got into a bad car accident and I just decided not to go back there. So I went ahead and I was scared to work because it's just like telling somebody you have a disability and they cannot see it. I'm not going to say it's harder than having a disability that you can't see. I'm not saying that. But it's so much harder because they're looking at you like, you look normal. Like, you look fine. Well, get an x-ray machine, bitch. Like, I'm telling you, something is wrong with me. And I've had so many people say, you liar, you just want attention. No. That's the wrong attention, by the way. So, and you don't got faith in the human race if you think of people lying about a disability, weirdo. But that's neither here nor there. That's very much anger. So then, I think my auntie Margie, which is my mom's older sister, one of her older sisters, started working for the school district. And she was doing a temporary, it's like a teacher's assistant, basically, but you can pick your own hours. So if I didn't want to work that week because I was in a flare, I didn't have to work that week. Well, guess what? Helena was so good at her job, she got permanent. They hired me after a week, and I was like, fuck this shit. I didn't want it to be permanent. So with that, I just had to call out. And when the people would come and ask me, like, why would you, I would have to tell, like, you know, the higher ups what was going on. I didn't know about FMLA back then. I didn't know about nothing like I know now. So I worked there for about 2 years. And then I worked at, what's that? There's an elementary school on, I don't even know what street it is. I don't even know. Russian Jack. I worked at Russian Jack. Did I work at Russian Jack? I don't know what school. I don't know what school I worked at. But I worked at 2 schools. I know the second school was Clatt Elementary. And I was there both for a year. So in between that, I worked at the Shack, which is like a smokehouse that my brother-in-law runs. So it was just like, hey, come work here. So, yeah. So fast forward, I worked there and till about 21. And then I had a few other jobs. I'm not going to go into detail, but I had a few other jobs that were more harder on my body. So that's when I got scared again, because I'm like, oh snap, like I don't want to have to tell people. And some of the job I worked with my family, some jobs I worked outside of my family. So that was until about 23. And when I tell you I had to go through hell, like I still cry like to this day about that pain. Like I feel like I can hide it now better, and I'm a mom, so my first priority isn't me. So when I found out I was pregnant with my first daughter, my eldest, Zaya, I was like, oh my gosh. How am I gonna do this when I can barely get myself up to bed? How? But when you're a mom, you just have to put that pain to the back of your mind, and that's what I do. That's how I'm able to like do things. I know my neighbor, she is on the older side, and she was even like, how are you walking? Like, because her daughter has fibromyalgia. It's like, how? And I was like, because when you're a mom, you kick that junk, it's not about you no more, you know? So it's so painful, and I felt like I was left out of a lot of things due to that. I felt like people didn't really want to be around me. I felt alone. I felt defeated. I felt just, I hated it. I hated myself. I hated it. So I did start losing weight when I turned 21. So I went from a size 16 to a size 8. And also that does help with fibromyalgia. So when you lose weight, obviously there's not as much pressure on your joints. So it relieves pressure. So I forgot, I have sleep apnea and I have sleep insomnia. So those are another two things that come hand in hand with fibromyalgia, because one thing about it is, before I went to my doctor about insomnia and sleep apnea, which are not good for people that need to heal. So I was not sleeping. I would be tired and I could not fall asleep. So this is how my doctor described it. People with chronic pain, anybody really, when you are sick, when you got a stomach bug, when you just tired, what do? You sleep. When you sleep, your body heals. But if you don't go to sleep, your body never has time to heal. So let me give you guys an analogy of what FM. This is what I tell people when they ask me, like, what is that? If you stub your toe, just a regular schmegular person, if you stub your toe, it's gonna hurt for probably 5, maybe, no, not 5, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. You're gonna be like, might not even hurt that long. With somebody from fibromyalgia, I will get a bruise because I'm easily bruised. I can easily bruise, and it's gonna last for hours. It's not like, I have to, like, even for massages, I would have to go to somebody that specializes in massages because they would hurt me. When I'm in a flare, just doing this would hurt me. Just like sometimes my boyfriend, he can't even touch, like sometimes just getting in the bed. Oh, baby. I remember a thing like at my mom's church was we had to hug the ladies. Like I would dread going to church just because somebody would hug me. That's how painful I was, in so much pain. So I lost a lot of weight. That helped. And then I had my daughter. So what makes it worse is stress, or like say, I don't know if you guys remember the getting ready for surgery part 2, when I said I needed to go to Costco, Walmart, get my hair done, go to Kaya's doctor's appointment. That would have put me in a flare up for at least 2 weeks, just doing all that in one day. And not even one day would have put me in a flare up for 2 weeks minimum. So that's why I did Walmart one day, and I do Epsom salt baths. That helps. I warm baths, long showers. That helps. And then, so that's what I did the night prior. And then that day, Omar was like, I'm just going to do Instacart because it's going to be too much on your body. How are you going to have surgery and your body's already tensed up from this pain? So that's what I meant by that, is I wouldn't be able to handle it. I physically would not be able to handle it. So I definitely felt alone. I definitely felt like one day in this house, I was probably 6 months ago, I was playing with Zai and Kaya. Umar went to go get food. I believe he was going to get either pho or fried rice. So he goes, gets food, and he's on his way back. He called me. He was like, I got the food. I'm going to go get us something to drink, and I'm going to come home. I'm like, okay, cool. I pick Zaya up, and baby, Zaya is solid as a rock, okay? And I dropped to the floor instantly. I threw her on the bed, and I dropped to the floor, and I couldn't move. So I'm like, like, oh my gosh. So I had my Apple Watch on and I was like, call babe. And I'm screaming and he's like, what's going on? And I'm like, I just fell. Like something just happened. I threw Zaya on the bed. I'm on the floor. I need you to come now. So Fast and the Furious, baby. When I tell you, it was like I called, he was there. Granted, he was like on his way home, but I don't know, he must have put it in that sport mode, baby, because he was home. And I literally, if y'all know my man, my baby, he's skinny. I'm a thicker girl. And normally, like, you know how you don't want to show people how heavy you is. You be, oh, I'm so, no, baby, pick me up. I didn't want to breathe. So I get to I'm like, babe, get the boiling water on, get the kettle on, because I can't be down and out, you know? So I'm like, get the boiling water, get the Epsom salt, So while he's doing that, I'm crawling to the tub. I don't even wait till the water get in the tub. I crawl in the tub. Like, I literally roll myself in the tub. That is FM. That is FM. And I pray and hope that there's more awareness of it, because when I was looking through, like, even when I was 18, there was nothing on YouTube regarding fibromyalgia. There was nothing saying that you're gonna be okay. There was nothing on top of nothing on top of nothing. And I was embarrassed about my medication that I had to take. I remember the first time I ever spent the night with Omar. I don't know, weird shit, like, you know, just, I told him to close his eyes because I had to take my medication. And he was like, what I need to close? And I had everything prepped and planned with the medication. I have probably 6 or 7 pill bottles, so I put everything in one, so you don't see me crack open, you know what I mean? So that was, I feel embarrassed. I feel like sometimes I'm not good enough. Like, maybe God, like, God don't make mistakes, but something happened with me and him, and there's a disconnect, because I feel there is not a day, you guys. So fall asleep. I can fall asleep on my side. Either side is totally fine. But if I not wake up, but like if I roll on my back, that's it. I have to sleep on my back. I cannot sleep on my stomach because my spine is like this. You know, when you sleep on your stomach, your butt is up. Your spine is not aligned. I cannot sleep on my stomach. I cannot sleep on my sides after I already fall asleep. If I do, I will be in pain. And let me just give you an example of a flare-up. You see eyelids? Everybody got eyelids. Imagine if they were in pain. Imagine having the flu and you know that achy body hurting. Put that on your eyelids. Put that on your scalp. Sometimes it gets to a point where my scalp is hurting, my ears are hurting, my neck is hurting. And I've definitely gotten better with, like, my best friend. I'm able to talk to her and, like, you know, express how I feel. Sometimes I don't want to go to my mom because my mom is she has FM. So for her, it stresses her out to know I'm in pain. And I don't live in the same city as my family. I live 15 minutes out just by Muldoon. So I've only asked my mom once to watch my kids, and it wasn't even a flare up. Now I've asked her to watch my kids for, like, daycare, like babysitting, as of, like, I need to go to a doctor appointment or something. But to be like, Mom, I need you to come pick up my kids for a toothache. But sometimes I just want to ask, but then it's like I don't even feel like, and this is sometimes it's all in your head too, but it's like, I don't know, like, I just don't even feel comfortable asking for help. But yeah, so this is just gonna be part 1. I might break it up into, like, different part 1, part 2, just because it's really long. But I really want you guys to understand that it's okay to be different. It's okay to cry. It's okay to, I know, but have thoughts that aren't the best, as long as you get through it. I to this day, it's so tiring when I go to work. I take care of my kids. I do all this thing. I do everything. By the time I get in bed, I cry. I cry. A lot of the times. Yeah. If I go grocery shopping, I'm gonna be in a flare-up for at least a week. And a lot of the times, I've tried a lot. I've tried CBD. I smoked I smoked it all. I smoked weed, CBD, baby. At this point, give me anything. So it's definitely been a lot. It's been a hard journey. It's been depressing. It's been I've been alone. I feel like I don't have friends that my best friend, but I don't have friends in Alaska that understand. I don't have people that I feel like get it. And people can say they get it, but they really don't. And you can't fault them, because it's some things you just have to go through to get. I don't even wish this on anybody. Even if I don't hate nobody. I don't dislike people like that no more. I wouldn't wish this on nobody. And one thing my doctor said was, Helena, you're so strong, because, and this might sound so horrible, but the terminal illness of like cancer, or I'm just gonna say cancer, the end result is usually death. But you have to go through this pain for the rest of your life. And when she said that, I just busted out crying, because I'm like, that's true. But who can complain against somebody with cancer? Like, that's no comparison. But it's like, yeah, that's the sad truth of it. And it's so disheartening, and it's so sad, and I wish I could be an advocate for all these people, but I'm still trying to voice me. But I definitely have been through a lot of dark times, but it's okay, because I know that there's light into the tunnel. Like, when I get into a flare-up, I know the longest I wouldn't say the longest I've had a flare-up, because there's been years where there's just been intense pain all the time. But just know that, like, you will get through it. And when I say I'm in pain every day, I probably wake up at a pain as probably a 6.5. By the time I get into it, the shower goes down to about a 5.5. That's for the rest of the day. By the time I go to bed, it's probably an 8. Like right now, I'm in a flare right now. Sometimes it hurts to smile. Hurts to breathe sometimes. There's been times where I couldn't even wipe my own ass. Omar had to do it. It's very degrading, yeah. I remember in our first apartment, I couldn't even take a shower. He had to clean me. He had to wipe me. I couldn't walk by myself. Yeah. There's been some really harsh times, but you know what? If you guys want more about FM and how you guys can get through it and what I did and everything like that, go ahead and comment down below, like this video, and share this video. I want to reach as many people as I can, especially with my story, because as long as I can help one baby, God is good. So yes, so if you guys have if you have any questions at all, even if it's like anything, don't be embarrassed. I'm a very open book. I'll answer y'all, and yeah. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, baby. This was a very hard video for me to make. I am not a vulnerable person. I don't like people to know my weaknesses. I don't like that, but it's okay, because I know I'm a strong individual. Baby, God didn't give this to me for no reason. And so it's sometimes okay to ask for help, which I'm trying to learn. It's okay to be like, Helena, the house doesn't have to be clean today. It's okay. So I definitely hope you guys enjoyed this video. I definitely hope that it just puts you in perspective and getting to know me a little more. My sister said the thing about social media is being transparent, and I felt like I was hiding something from you guys, because that's a big part of my life, you know. So I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. I really hope that you guys give patience to people that say they have a disability and you can't see it. You know, I got so many dirty stares when I was filming that video, one of the vlogmas videos, and I was showing you guys what we bought at the store. Old people were looking at me because I parked in the handicap spot. I mean, I got toe surgery, but I can get a handicap sticker. Like, I have a chronic disability, and I choose not to because I don't want to even have to deal with the battle of telling people I had fibromyalgia. They don't give a fuck. Like, if they did, they wouldn't even ask, why am I parking in a handicap spot? And I clearly have a DMV sticker. So just being more kind and gentle to people, because you never know what's going on. And when I tell you, I've been in the darkest place. The only reason why I haven't did anything is because I'm scared of God and I'm scared of going to hell. Now I love my kids are just over everything. But yeah, before my kids, I would smile and people, I would smile and act like I'm okay and be dark, depressed demon time. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope it gives you a better understanding of Helena. And yeah.